Well, let's dive right into some safety. So some older cars, when you leave your lights on, you don't know. There's no buzzer. They don't go off. So what do? Well, you're stuck. So you either call someone to help you or a tow truck. If it's the battery that's dead, then it's either the battery's dead or your lights were on and it drained the battery, so you need to get a little charge. You can have someone take you to a store to recharge your battery, or you can have someone jump your car, get it going, and hopefully your alternator's fine. So other than that, that's it. But in the meanwhile, you need to get off to the side of the road. You need to stay away from your car because other cars can hit it. There's nothing you can do at that point. And the other thing that's really, really important is to take either a red, a yellow, a fluorescent greens, a fluorescent orange flag, tie it onto your antenna, one or two of them. And if you put your hood up on your car motor, it lets people know that there's something wrong. Okay? That way you're good. Also, when someone approaches you, if they're going to help you, keep your distance and say, hey, all I need is a jump, or all I need is for someone to take me to a store to get this battery done because I don't have enough money to get somewhere, or whatever. Men are different than women. Children, young men or boys or women and girls is also different. That's why it's important to have, AAA, so they can come out. It's a small fee, or if you have a friend that you can call, that's great. And then the last thing that's really, really important is to never turn your back on that person ever during the time that they're helping you, and thank them tremendously. Also, take your phone out and do a video or a photograph of their car, their license plate, so that you know who they are. If anything does happen, it's on your phone or whatever. And you can also take that photo and text it to someone and say, hey, listen, I'm being helped by this person right now. This is the photo of their car. This is a photo of them, and that's it. So, and if someone won't let you take a photo of them or their car, there could be something up. Very, very something wrong, and you need to just say, hey, stay away from me, walk away from me, run away from them. Your car is meaningless. You can replace your car, it doesn't matter. You can't replace yourself. So those are the important things. And if you're on a really busy road, really get away from your car. Okay, so if you drove down, you don't want to stand down below your car, because if someone hits your car, then it gets pushed into you. If you're upstream from where you drove from, then what's going to take place is that if they hit your car, it just goes somewhere else, and there's nothing you can do at that time. Okay, your battery's dead, you can't put your blinkers on, so that's not going to work. You put flags on your antenna, you did the most you could. You put the hood up. If someone doesn't know what a hood up and 2 flags in the antenna, or 3 flags or 4 flags in the antenna mean, well, then they weren't schooled correctly in car safety from when they first got their license. Okay? And is this something you should refresh yourself on all the time? Absolutely. There are so many people that get into an accident or situation, and then they get hit staying at their car, staying at the accident scene, staying in a busy area. There's nothing you can do at the time. If your battery's good, put your 4 flashers on, put your hood up, put the thing on, and get away from it. Get far away from your vehicle. There's nothing you can do. So that's what is the most important thing, and that's where you will learn what to do the next time you get into a situation. Address it right away. Let people know exactly where you're at, and you're all set. All right? Hope you got some good information out of this, and we'll see you next time on Education and Safety, Journeys and Adventures, Hiking, Bushcraft, and Survival, and of course, sometimes we do have some entertainment. So until again, enjoy your day, enjoy your stay, and be healthy, because when you have your health, you have your wealth. We'll see you. So one of the things I keep in my car is a set of battery cables, and believe it or not, today I got up super early. Sometimes I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:35. I go somewhere, and sometimes I just, don't jump right into the coffee shops if I'm going somewhere and they're not open yet. So I sit in my car, and since I have an older car, my lights stay on. Even though the battery's new, temperatures are real cold today. I'm going to say probably today the temperature is about maybe 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and that'll drain the battery with the lights on. So I ended up trying to start it because I have a clutch car, but if the battery's dead and there's no juice at all in it, it's done. Now the battery's only a year old, but one of the things I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the store where I bought it and have them charge it for me and give it a full charge and test it to make sure everything's okay with that battery. Because in the summertime, if you leave your lights on with the heat, your car's going to last longer, but in the cold, it's not going to last as long. And those, the amps that a battery has, that how many repetitions you can turn the car over, is like cold crank amps, okay? The higher the cold crank amps, the stronger the battery, the more expensive, and it lasts longer in the heat. Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, temperatures. You know, you're down here in Nevada, right here in Las Vegas, temperature is 38 degrees. You go up to Mount Charleston, it's 0 degrees. 0 degrees in that parking lot right now. Cars are constantly not starting at Mount Charleston. You drive 6 hours away to Reno, cars are constantly not starting. You drive there, nice warm car. The car's been around the hot sun, 117 degrees. The road surfaces here are about 170 degrees in the summertime, Fahrenheit, 170 degrees. And the next thing you know, you're done. So before you take a trip in the cold, make sure you get, and always keep a pair of these in there, your car, because what can happen is, if you have AAA or a friend, it could take a long time for them to get there. But if you have these, put your hood up, put some flags on it, eventually someone will come by. You don't have to wave down anybody. And someone came by, and it happened to be some maintenance workers that were working here and stopped by, and within 5 minutes my car's battery was charged and it was started, but I had my cables. It was less of a headache for them. I had the cables already put on the battery, the positive, okay, and the negative. I had those both put on, and then the other ends, I kept them apart from each other, so the only thing that they had to do is connect it to their battery. Now, there is a protocol on how to do a perfect jump battery. Look that up. I'm not going to sit here and educate you on that. You need to figure that out yourself, because there is a protocol to how to do it. I'm pretty sure you hook it up to the vehicle that's started, then you hook up the positive to your positive, okay, so positive, negative to their vehicle, positive to your vehicle, and then possibly the last thing you do is you ground it on your battery for your car, and then you let it go. A dead battery is going to take a while to start. Now my battery and alternator is good because I just replaced that a couple of years ago, and there's nothing wrong with my alternator. I know that for a fact. I had it tested a year later, even after I had it replaced, just to make sure it's still running great. Now the other thing is, batteries out in Vegas and Arizona die so fast. If you're in a garage, 75 degrees Fahrenheit room temperature all the time, that's a different thing, okay? But if your car sits out in the parking lot for 8 hours and 117 degrees, and you do that for 60 days, it's killing the battery. So don't go with an inexpensive battery, go with an expensive battery. And one other note too, is if your battery goes dead too early, there's a date on your battery where you bought it, and you take it back, they will prorate that battery pertaining to what it costs. So if it costs you $150 for the battery, they're going to say, well, it's a 5-year warranty and it only lasted a year. Something went wrong with the battery. It happens all the time. So what they'll do is either replace the battery for free, or they'll say, oh, you know, 30, 40 bucks minus 150, so you owe us 40 bucks and we'll give you a new battery. Those kind of things happen all the time too. So make sure you make notes. Keep a spiral ring notebook in your glove compartment of when you buy your stuff, date it, time it, and you'll be always happy that you did that, so you know what your warranty is on your battery, an alternator, something like that. Keep notes on that. So that's about it. So I'm going to get my battery cables, put them back where they belong in this case that I actually have, a little white plastic case I keep all my tools in the trunk, and I'm going to go right to the location where I bought it, the original location, and have them charge this battery. That's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to find out that tomorrow it's 32 degrees, goes down to 20 degrees, and now the battery's dead, and now I'm stuck somewhere where now I have to take the battery somewhere to get it replaced. So I'm going to take care of that right now. Don't procrastinate anything. If you have an appointment or a job, call up. Say, I got to take care of this. because if I break down, I'm not coming in tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Those are the most important things that you have to do. Take care of it. I don't care if you have a meeting. I don't care if you have tickets for 150 bucks. Tell them what happened, and I am sure anybody, anywhere will refund your money or give you another tickets to see the show if something happens. If they don't, well, that's the kind of world we're living in, and hopefully it gets a little bit better soon. But other than that, hey, keep these in your car and you'll always be happy. And today, from the time that I broke down until I tried to find someone, I put my trunk up on the hood on the front of the car. I put 2 flags in the back. I timed it. It was exactly 30 minutes until someone came by, and I made eye contact. I waved them over. They came over, and I said, hey, would you jump me? I've got everything all set up. And they did that. Now, if you're on the highway, you might not be as lucky because now cars are just passing by. Now, if a police officer or security or someone that has a truck, they'll stop, especially if you have your hood up and that. That's what their job is to do, to find out if they can help you, tow you, or whatever they can do. That's what they do all day long, and they travel around busy cities and do that. And they're looking for someone that really does need a tow job. It's going to be 150 bucks for their pocket versus, hey, I just helped someone out, thank you, and those 2 guys. Those 2 guys helped me out today. I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen, from the location I'm at here. And I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's why you need to be nice to everybody. You need to understand that you're not inviting them over for a weekend at your house. You're your friend at the moment. You appreciate their kindness, and you move on from that point. All right, until again, I'm Mike Rockmaker, Education, Safety, Journeys and Adventures, Hiking, Bushcraft, and Survival, and Entertainment. Until again, buy yourself these. I think I got these for 15 or 20 bucks somewhere. You can get them for 30 bucks, 40 bucks, whatever. These are really, really, really thin. You don't need big ones. I don't have a big car, and I don't need really, really long ones, so I'm good. But if you know that you're going to break down and it's going to be farther away, get longer ones so that you know you can always reach the other car. They happen to be able to pull right in front of my car, and it was easy, and it was done. Thanks again. What I did was I ended up taking to it where I bought my battery. They tested it, and even though that I had my lights on for just a little bit, it ended up that, believe it or not, the battery was bad. Appreciate all the guys helping me out, and since I bought an expensive battery, it was under warranty, and I'm good to go. Now, you don't get an additional warranty and keep going and going and replace it again and again. It's one warranty, one time. Mine happened to be, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. I can't remember what it was, but all I know is that it was under warranty. Battery was dead. It wasn't working correctly, and therefore, that's where we're at right now. So it's a drain. You put the battery on. I'm probably now an hour and a half into this whole project, and I did also find some jumper cables at O'Reilly's. I think they're like 24 bucks. My recommendation is, hey, go over to your O'Reilly's, AutoZone, wherever you want to go that you get your stuff. Put jumper cables in the back of your trunk. Put some stuff, maybe, you know, some tools or something, just in case you need to do something. Even if you don't know how to use your tools, there might be someone else that knows how to use those tools so that you're all set. And the more all set you are, the easier you are to get back on the road again. Now, of course, if you get in an accident or a car breaks down, it's major concern. That's a whole other story. I was covered and I'm good. My alternator, it'll probably last. I mean, this car's got a lot of miles on it, and it needed an alternator last year, so I replaced that. I replaced a few other little parts and so forth. And of course, you know, like I said, in Arizona and so forth, even though I'm not putting a lot of miles on my car, I mean, really, 3 to 4, 5,000, not even miles on a year, it doesn't matter. My car's out and about in the sun, you know, when I'm out, or if I do some hiking or something. So it's sitting there. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you're using it or not. That's what happens when you have a lot of high heat, 117 degrees for 3 months straight. road surface is 170 degrees. Even if your car's not running, it's being cooked and baked all the time. So that's my most important thing I can teach you, or give you some education, side stuff, is to do that. And also too, I had some spray that I put on the bolt so that it would loosen up and, you know, not get all rusty and so forth. And there's different products out there, so when you're at the store you can just ask for it. There's different products that loosens bolts, and you can always spray your bolts, you know, around things that you have to tighten and loosen once in a while, so that you don't have a problem. Because if the bolt is rusted shut, you can't get the battery out where it's at or whatever. So we had to use a little bit of a spray to loosen the bolt up, and I cleaned it up and everything was good. We're all ready to go. And what I'll do is probably in a month or a week, 2 weeks, I'll just get this tested, and I'll just stop by and have them do a real quick test on it. And they just plug it in. It takes exactly 2 minutes for them to test the battery, alternator, make sure everything's running right, and we're good to go. All right, that's it. I'm glad I went right to the place where I got it. All right, so I'm going to just go over a few of the things that we just mentioned in this video, and just remember that you should always have a safety kit in your car. You should have a little silver blanket in your car if it gets cold, if you stop somewhere, 2 silver blankets. Without getting into more details, you definitely need a little toolkit, definitely need jumper cables. Those are really important things, and you know, a pair of jumper cables is like 25 bucks. The longer the cable, the more expensive it'll be. They can range, you know, from $15 to $45. I've seen them at 25. The other thing too is where you break down. For instance, if you break down in the parking lot like this right here, you can just walk up to someone. There's people around. Can I get your help? You know, would you give me a hand? Would you take a look at it? Do you know anything about cars? Those are important things. You know, if your battery's dead, you know, that's the first thing you got to check, because sometimes people leave their lights on. So those are some of the most important things that you can do, is to deal with that aspect. I just made a few notes here, and you know, besides always making sure that you check your battery every once in a while, maybe 2 years, the alternator, make sure that's running good, everything's up to par, and you can stop at any auto parts store, they'll do that. I happen to go today to O'Reilly's. Like I said, the jumper cables, first aid kit, should always keep a really, you know, pretty long knife and a sharp knife in case you need it. My lights were turned on for a short time and my battery got dead, but if you have a really weak battery, then that can happen. So like I was saying, if you have a weak battery, that can happen. And just remember that, you know, the first thing you do is you should take a picture of your car, where it's at, location, call someone, let them know that you're trying to get help. And also you can text someone and let them know. If you have a person or a neighbor that's close by, that's not too far away, that you're friends with, that lives in your neighborhood or near your apartment or house, you can absolutely become friends with them and say, hey, if I ever need your help, can I give you a call anytime? They might say sure. Make sure that you also call work and tell them that at this time I can't get into work. No way, I'm gonna have to take off today. My car broke down and I'm dealing with it right now. And I will let you know by the end of the day whether I'm gonna have to take off tomorrow too to deal with my car, because that is an important aspect of it. Any boss that's good is gonna say, hey, no problem. If they respect your space, they're gonna say no problem, okay? There's nothing that can't be replaced. Doctors are replaced, lawyers are replaced, surgeons are replaced. Everybody can be replaced. Pilots can be replaced. Anybody that calls in sick can be replaced. It's just the way it is. The other aspect of it too is the reason you're taking off. I wanted to mention that. The reason you're taking off from work is because you just had a stressful moment in your life and you're not thinking about anything except for what just happened. And that's a flashback. And that flashback can carry over that day, that night, the next day. So remember that you just went through something traumatic, even though that it's not the end of the world or something super tragic. It is really important in your life at that time. So that's why you need to address your life, because no one else is going to address your life. You can only control your life. You know, you break down, you get in an accident, don't stay at the car. You can turn the blinkers on, great. If the battery's dead and it doesn't work, so be it. Put the hood up. If you have 2 towels in the back, a yellow, a red, a fluorescent orange, a fluorescent green, throw those up on your antenna. Put them on your windshield, on your door handle. Let people know that there's something wrong with your car, okay? Put the hood up where the motor compartment is, and then immediately get away from your car. Go to the sidewalk, because if someone hits your car, you can't do anything about it. You're not going to stop a car or a tractor trailer from hitting your car. And don't go downwind in the direction that you were going, because if they hit your car, they're going to push your vehicle into yourself standing there. So always go up 50 to 100 feet away from your car, and don't stand in the road waving people and telling them what to do. If they're not aware when they're driving, that is their responsibility to know that cars can break down. So be aware of that, okay? And that's why texting and on a cell phone and all these things add up to catastrophic crashes. People aren't paying attention, and when something happens that's not normal, they can't react. It's too late. You're doing 40 miles an hour, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. You travel so many hundreds of feet in that time period, you're not going to be able to do anything. So that's why it's important that no matter winter, snow, summer, or fall, you have to get away from your vehicle and put your blinkers on and make sure that you put your hood up. And those are key ingredients for someone to see your vehicle that it's not normal. If you see a hood up on a road, you know something's not normal. Now, the other aspect of it is, I would keep 2 cans of bear spray in your car too. And this is important. That if you call for a tow truck, okay, they're supposed to tell you the name of the driver, first name, last name. They're supposed to tell you a code number. They're supposed to tell you when they're going to approximately arrive there. They were also supposed to tell you that this is the driver's phone number, and you give them your number and vice versa. And when you meet that driver, you got to make sure that's the tow truck that you called for. You have to address that. Can I see your driver's license? I want to make sure that this is the person that they spoke to. Don't you say the name. Say, I want to see your identification. That's their responsibility as a tow truck or any kind of maintenance person to give you ID. If it's not, there's a problem. You need to stop, call up whoever you spoke to originally, because phone transmissions and CB radios are always captured by other companies, and they take them and they take advantage of that. Next thing you know, your car is being towed somewhere. You didn't take your belongings out of your car, which you should have. And next thing you know, it's at a gas station that you didn't want it to be there. And now you owe a $175 tow job, and they're fixing your car, and you thought you went to the right place. And the next thing you know, they're taking advantage of you. So you got to be really, really careful what you do and where you go. Okay. And, and where you break down. That's really important. So whoever you call, they're going to tell you the name of the driver, first name, last name, color of the truck, type of truck it is. You need to verify that. They don't need to ask you anything. You need to address them immediately and say, what's the name of your tow truck company? What's your first name, last name? Can I see ID? Because if they capture that information over the radio or on the phone signals, they can say, their name that they heard, and you think it's them, but it's not. So those are important things. Make sure you see their ID and verify that that is the person opposed to. If not, tell them not to get near your car. And if they say, well, hey, if you're going to treat me like this, and I'm going to leave. Well, it's not how you treat. Are you going to open your door to your house or your home and just invite someone over that knocks on the door and say, hey, come on in for dinner? It's not going to happen. So, and they know that. Anybody that's professional, that does this for a living, knows that you have to have your guard up 100%, 200%, 300%. Okay? Always have your guard up. Never leave any personal belongings in your car when you leave it. And that's it. And that is how it works. If you have a friend that can, it's your battery, you can take the battery out of your car. You can take it to the place. They can test it. They can charge it. And they can give you the answer right there. Okay? That's why it's always important that wherever you get your battery, for instance, you go back to the same company so they have that all on file. Okay? You don't need your paper receipt. It's digitally on their records. Under your phone number, it's there. So now, I know I talked a lot. I'm going to wrap this up now. If you're in a public area like this, in a parking lot, and there's a lot of people walking around, that's one aspect. If there's just people driving around, they're not going to normally stop. But if someone's walking by you at a place that normally has people, you can just, do a shout out and say, hey, could you give me a hand to check my car for me, please? You got to remember, men adults are one aspect, women adults are another. Middle-aged people, men and women, are different. Children just starting to drive, that 18 to 21 to 25, both men, women, girls, boys, they're all going to have to deal with every situation differently. It's not always the same way that you deal with somebody, because that's just the way it is. And you got to never turn your back on anybody. And if there's two people that are trying to help you, you got to be careful on that too. The other most important thing is to not let anybody go into your car. You are always in control of your car keys, and you are in control of going in and trying to start it. And as soon as you do that, you can ask them, would you step away from my car because I can't see you from the hood? Could I see you when I try to start this car? They should have no problem with that, because you don't need for them to do something to your car while you're in your car also. So those are little important things. Believe me, everything I'm discussing happens all the time, everywhere in the United States, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, big cities, small towns, everywhere. You can look every incident up. It's all online, and you can find out what's happening, why it happened, where it came into. And I just want to share with you one thing, is I have a lot of experience from my past in the business that I was in to see and hear a lot of these incidents take place. So I'm aware of everything that's possible, and I'm just sharing it with you to be a little smarter, a little bit quicker, a little bit, safer, super safe. I always call it being super safe, because you can never be not super safe. Okay, that's it. All right, so that's it. I'm going to wrap this video up. I know I wrapped it up before, but now I'm really wrapping it up, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And the most important thing is that you got to keep on thinking the whole time, not about your vehicle, no matter how much it costs or whatever. That's replaceable, 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 replaceable. You're not replaceable, so remember that. Take care of yourself only. Okay, you get one life, one try. Okay, if you have your health, you have your wealth, and be super safe. All right, take care. We'll see you soon again on Safety and Education, Hiking, Bushcraft, and Survival, Journeys and Adventures, and of course, sometimes we throw some entertainment in there. We'll see you.